Yeah. Right. Come here, where you gone? Right, hello everyone. It's Wednesday, the 12th of August. And it's 2026, of course. And today I'm in Higham on the Hill. Very nice sign they've got here. I'm not going to go very far because it's very hot today. It's only just 10 past 10. And it's another scorching day. Look at the grass. Brown. Completely gone. Anyway, I'm going to go to Higham on the Hill and have a look at two churches here. And then I'm going to go on to Stoke Golding and look at three churches, all in the same village. What's going on? Well, let's find out. This is an account of the history of the chapel by Steve Turner. Originally the house that Jack built. The deeds go back to 1838 when Jack Brown pushed a handcart to and from Wilmcote Brickworks, a distance of 10 miles, carrying all the bricks to build a house. The iron window frames he carried from Birmingham, a 42-mile round trip for each frame. After 14 years the house still needed a roof, which was paid for by the parish. Sadly, Jack never lived to enjoy the fruits of his labours. It has 2 front doors, 2 rear doors and 2 internal staircases, but has always been one house. It was purchased in 1959 and converted to a Methodist chapel. If we look at the diary of events on this notice board, there's a lot going on, and much of it in conjunction with the church up the road. Well, the interesting thing is, this is the direction to St. Peter's Church, which is Church of England. So we've got a Methodist church there and a Church of England church here, and they do a lot of work together, as you can see from their notices. So I do know the answers to these questions, but I'm just going to throw them out anyway. Why are the two churches in one small village? And it's the same story in Stoke Golding. In fact, they've got 3 churches. So I'm going to see if I can have another look up here at St. Peter's Church, which is a lovely church, and just give you a little bit of history about how old it is. So let me make my way up there now. Well, you may or may not know the school next door here is the church school, as many villages have a church and a church school. So this is what we've got here. Oh, there's 1 or 2 people attending the graves. Right, I'm pushing my bike as a mark of respect for the church and its churchyard. Oh, let me go in here. Lovely. Ooh. Ah, that's nice. Oh, well, by the way, it's almost obligatory for people in their 70s to make noises when you sit down and stand up. It's the way of the world. Ah, well, it's nice and cool in here. I always like to come into these sort of, is it a vestibule of the church? I don't think the church is open. I'll check. Nope. But I think Stoke Golding Church will be open, St Margaret's. This is St Peter's. That tower dates back to 1130 to 1180. That is 900 years ago. That's ages before America was discovered even, let alone developed and colonized. 1100, so 900 years ago. We're now in 20s, 1100, it's 900 years ago. And it's a listed building, of course, and it's still standing. Quite so, you just can't imagine what the village must have been like way back in the day when that was built. And the other thing about these churches is there must have been a lot of expense because they're not cheap to build, these things, particularly in stone. Many were built in wood to start with, and then eventually in stone. But it must have been a very dedicated process. But there again, back in the 12th century and thereafter, the church had a very strong hold and following, either voluntary or compulsory, of all the people in the parish. So if they wanted to build a church, they would get one built. And it was a part of the strength and the power that the church will have had then. And of course, it would have been the Catholic Church to start with, because it wasn't until Henry VIII that the Catholic Church was put to one side, nice way of putting it, and the Church of England took over many of the churches. Of course, there are still Catholic churches, but not quite so many here in the Midlands. I'm in the middle of England, by the way, in Nuneaton. This is into Leicestershire. If I go in other parts of the country, this story won't quite be the same. And there is a Methodist church here, you can see. But also, it was very popular in Wales, in South Wales in particular. And the reason for Methodism being popular was because, and I'll tell you now, I hate saying, oh, I'll tell you later on. I won't tell you later on, I'll tell you now. The reason was that in the 18th and 19th century, the working class people were not necessarily well served by the Church of England. This was a place for the gentry and the landed and the well-off people. And the working class people didn't have much of a look in. So they wanted a church for themselves. It says in some references that they wanted a bit more of a lively service and worship. And indeed, that some of the best hymns were written by the Methodists. They're brilliant. I suppose I could play one to you. It wouldn't be contravening any copyright to do that. Some absolute gorgeous ones. So, yeah, Methodism really got going in the 18th and 19th century. And we're going to go over to Stoke Golding next, because I know that that church might well be open, because they have an open morning on a Wednesday morning. With a bit of luck, I'll be able to get in there. Right, enough said. Let's move on. Oh dear, sorry about the cut off there. I did manage to get the rest of this wonderful hymn and enabled to put it onto this video, but YouTube, in their great wisdom, I don't think allowed it. So I'm going to have to leave it there and just have to imagine it. Okay, hymn books away. Down there is the Bishop's house, so called because it's where the Reverend Fisher lived, and he was to become the Archbishop of Canterbury, the one who was at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. Another fun fact is that the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, started his church career in Nuneaton. And you might clock that the cross around his neck is the cross of nails, which is a symbol from Coventry Cathedral. And as I've mentioned before, George Fox, the founder of Quakerism, was born in Fenny Drayton, about 4 or 5 miles away. This place is full of religious interest. Anyway, on to Stoke Golding.
I'm an expert at overthinking things that I shouldn't. You come across as a cool guy, someone who's the opposite. And all my friends are leaving, but I wanna stay here. Can we just stay here?
I am approaching Stoke Golding village because it's a lovely little village, and it's got 1 or 2 churches. In fact, it's got 3. May have more, don't know. Anyway, here I am. Oh, and I've done a little bit of research for you and for my own interest as well. So happens that along here on the right we've got a Methodist church before we get to the main church of St Margaret's. So I'm just wondering what the story was back in the day, particularly in the 19th century, when the Methodism was coming here and was being developed. And eventually, in 1933, this church was finally built. Look. Just make my way over and see what's going on. There you go. Well, you can see me perfectly anyway. Stoke Golding mission statement. Methodist Church seeks to serve God and the community, led and inspired by the Holy Spirit, proclaiming the gospel to bring people to the faith in Jesus as Lord and Saviour. Right, well, fair enough. So my question is, how is that different from the Church of England? Because I would have thought they would have said more or less the same thing. And they've got cafe open Tuesdays and Fridays. The one down the road is on a Wednesday, which is today. So I'm going to go over there and see if they're there. Appropriate, wasn't it? Well, let's go and see what's going on. Hello. Hello. Well, as expected, of course, that was very nice. had a drink and had a chat with the ladies and the gentleman in there, and got a leaflet about the church, which I shall have a closer look at. And just along the road is the Stoke Golding Zion Baptist Church. The Baptists, of course, were very fond of adult baptism in water, often completely submerged. And this building, look, the paving is quite new, to be honest. And there are two plaques on the end of the building which say that it was first built in 1853 and then 21 years later enlarged. Nice way of putting it. And it is quite a considerable building, really. And there's quite a bit of land attached to it too, look. And it's a little bit sad going to the entrance, which just looks like it had been used up until recently. Notice on the way in, and a rather sad looking dried up Christmas tree. Ooh, wow, it's warm. Oh, so there we go. I've just stopped on the way back home before I crossed the A5. But look, they are cutting this. Oh, blimey, there's plenty of dust on this one. Coming past. Well, there was a bit of a spectacle for you. Wow. Yeah, there's a field of corn. I'll say sweet corn. God, it's so dusty as heck now. But they're bringing it in, and it's only August. I swear I've seen this crop left in really quite late into September, October. But they've obviously realised best to bring it in now, and it gets crunched up and used as animal feed. But yeah, I don't know how good a crop it is, because corn is usually a plant of the warmer climates, so we'll see. Okay, I was going to say goodbye, but David just pulled up and said he was one of the followers and watches the videos, which was very nice to see him. And yeah, lovely. Right, okay, let's get home. Oh, I've got to buy some bread on the way back. Just remember that. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. You know what, I never say this, but if you're going to subscribe, please do so. It is the law. You must do it, by the way. Oh, well, something's happening now. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.